Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to be working on an unexpected visitor in the workshop, which is the Bolens HT20, and it's in here because Dad decided to break it. Now the other day Dad was getting the HT20 out. I think he was just moving it and it stalled and he got distracted with something else, and then a few hours later came back to it and realised they'd left the ignition key in the on position, so he burnt out the coil. Now if we look at the rather expensive coil that we fitted not that long ago, you can see it's completely burnt out. You can see the molten plastic here and some bits have dripped down onto the engine cowling. With some further investigation, we think we might have found why the tractor stalled in the first place. So on this tractor and the HT that we use for grass cutting, the HT23, we put one of these fuel primers and a remote fuel tap on them. The primer is because the fuel tank, the tap or the pipe coming out of it is all the way at this kind of level, and the pump is all the way up here. So when you haven't used the tractor for a while, the fuel will just go back down the pipe, and it has to turn over quite a bit before the fuel to actually be taken back up. So whenever we want to start the tractor, we just squeeze this a couple of times and it brings the fuel back up. However, as you can see, there's a bit of a vacuum on that at the moment, which we have this fuel tap open, which means that fuel should be coming through, but it's not. And we checked, we have got fuel in the fuel tank, so we think there's some sort of fuel blockage back here somewhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to first take off this clip here and see if we've got any fuel flow coming out of there. Right, now I'm just going to shut the fuel tap off, because when I undo this I don't want to be wearing the petrol. And I'll just loosen this off a bit. So we've disconnected the pipe now, and something that we noticed is that our primer, now that it's disconnected and there is no longer an airlock, still isn't going back to its normal shape, which it should just be like round, which is interesting. But let's just make sure there isn't a blockage in this. There you go. There's no blockage there, which means I have a feeling the problem is actually our primer, which is a lot better than what we thought the problem was. We thought the problem might be a blockage in the pipes or somewhere near the fuel filter possibly, which is under the battery tray. We put an inline filter in between this tap and the fuel tank, so this is a lot more accessible than that. And if it was the filter, we would have had to have lifted the fuel tank out. Now the even better news is we actually had one of our fuel primers in stock. This one we were actually saving for the Bolens HT23, the one we bought more recently, because that doesn't have one of these in, and we thought it would make it easier to start. However, we're still collecting parts for that tractor for the next time we want to do a workshop session on it. So we can order a couple more of these, one to go on that tractor and then another one to have as a spare, because as you can see by this situation, they're handy to have. Right, now we've got the new primer into the fuel circuit here. And if you're ever fitting one of these, just remember it's got a little arrow on it there, and that's the direction the fuel needs to go. Now what I'm now going to do is I'm going to turn the fuel tap on, and I'm going to pump this, and you'll actually hear the fuel go up the pipe and into the fuel bowl of the carburetor, which is what the fuel pump would have to do if we were starting it without this. And there you can see I can't pump this anymore because it's full of, all of this is now full of fuel and ready to start if the coil wasn't burnt out. Now onto the coil, which I have the replacement one here. We like to keep a replacement HT coil in storage. But first thing we're going to have to do is just take off these two high tension wires that go to the two spark plugs, and then we've got the two low tension ones on each side. This one appears to be like stuck on there by that plastic that melted out of there, and then that one should just pull off, and then this side is actually bolted on. Right, we've got all of the cables disconnected now. And what we've got to do is just unbolt it here, and then we can just put the new one on, connect up all the cables, and that'll be it. We're hoping that we haven't fried the condenser here at the same time when the coil burnt out, because we don't have a spare one of them, we don't think. Right, so I've unbolted that, and you can just see where all the plastic's been dripping. Oh look, actually you can see a massive bit of it there.
Lovely.
Let's make sure that someone doesn't do that again, eh?
Good idea.
The old coil absolutely stinks now that we've disturbed it, but we've got the new one on, and we're now just doing this up.
I can still smell it, can you?
Yeah. One on. We've got all of the wires on the coil now, and that is fully installed now, and that we are very confident in this tractor, and we're so confident that we're going to try and start it first time on camera, but we'll probably switch it off straight away seeing as we have the workshop door shut and we don't want to gas ourselves out. If I just move the torch out of the way quickly and close the hood, and we have checked fluid levels and everything on the engine, and that seems alright, and we've primed the fuel using the fuel primer, so let's see if it starts. It started. In fact, we're actually feeling so confident that we're going to take it for a bit of a test run. Now you can see it's starting to get dark. It doesn't look like it's too dark because of the LEDs here in the workshop, but you can see the sun is just setting through the hedge. So we'll be using the LED lights that we put on the tractor. I think a couple of years ago now actually we swapped them on. That went pretty well. It's good to get the HT20 running. It's rained a lot overnight here in the UK, and you can see how much water, especially the back tyres, were pushing out of the ground. Not sure my mum's going to be happy about the tyre marks that we've left down the garden, but it's getting dark now, so she won't be able to see them out of the window. But that's it for this video. It was good to get it running again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Please subscribe to my channel, like this video and see our other videos. More to follow as we do more on this tractor. Bye!